I got to make sure I turn my phone off because it usually goes off. Hey, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to Call the Cops. My name is, yeah, you turn yours off too. My name is Officer Jamie Keneally. As always, we have a big show in store. Tonight's guest, Superintendent Paul Fitzgerald. And if you've been watching the show, you've seen him pop up in, I think, well, the show we had a couple of weeks ago, because he put together a phenomenal, and I can't stress that enough, a phenomenal wiffle ball tournament. All the proceeds went to benefit juvenile diabetes, or diabetes? Diabetes? Yeah. Diabetes? Okay. Superintendent Fitzgerald is in the house tonight, and he will be out here momentarily. But before we bring the trooper out, I'll bring the super out, excuse me. We've got some sad news to discuss. We get some video, actually, of the funeral mass of Mass State Trooper Doug Weddleton. And if you didn't hear the story, a couple of weeks ago, Trooper Weddleton was working a detail, highway detail, and he was tragically struck and killed by a drunk driver. So we kick off tonight's show offering our thoughts and prayers and condolences, of course, to the Weddleton family. Doug was a 27-year veteran of the Mass State Police, and just an absolute tragedy. He leaves behind a wife and 4 sons, and sadly, it's a part of what can happen in the profession that is law enforcement. So, again, our thoughts and prayers to his family. This was some of the video taken at the funeral mass, which took place at the Lady of Lords in Brockton. And again, it's just we can't say enough or offer up enough thoughts and prayers to his family. And although I didn't know Doug personally, I've heard nothing but great things about him. So again, thoughts and prayers to the Weddleton family. All right, so from some sad news to some more uplifting news, this was the scene at the BAC in Southie, the Boston Athletic Club, a couple weeks ago. That, I believe, is Caroline Fitzgerald. Don't quote me, but I've heard from a good source that's who it is. But anyway, you're looking at footage from, I got to tell you, folks, it's one of the best charity events I've seen in a long time. I mean, I know you get your road races, you've got your walks, but there's nothing quite like, I got to say, a wiffle ball tournament. And again, this was the scene at the BAC. All proceeds going to juvenile diabetes. And this thing, it had it all. I mean, you had the food, you had Rene Roncourt singing the national anthem, you had a ton of kids having a blast. And again, this is some of the footage from the earlier session of the wiffle ball tournament, which was won by the team in blue, whose name escapes me. Who was it? The Quincy Magoos. Quincy Magoos. They knocked off Caroline Fitzgerald's team, and that's a pretty good-looking swing there. But again, great event. We caught up to Paul Fitzgerald, who put it. Here's what he had to say about the day's activities.
3 years ago, my daughter, she was 8 years old, was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. Prior to that, I knew nothing about diabetes at all. I knew no one with it. I've learned a whole lot in the last 3 years, and for 3 years I've been thinking I should do something. I'm obligated to do my part in trying to raise some money and find a cure for this tough illness that affects so many people. So much work to put an event like this together. I had an unbelievable staff that helped me put it together, but you're always nervous. You just don't know who's coming. A lot of people contributed, but to show up today and see all the people come out with their families and give us a full day on a Saturday, a busy weekend, and just to come together for this cause, and for some great kids, and for a great cause, and throw their money together for us. I can't tell you how fortunate I am to be part of this organization and to have such great family and friends.
What a well-spoken man. You're going to see him in about 2 minutes. But by the way, when they talk about raising money, the event, if I have the number correct, raised upwards of $30,000. Again, we're going to talk to the super in about 2 seconds. All right, this was a scene at Boston Police Headquarters, the media room. Last month, it was graduation time for the Boston Police Explorers Program. And you're looking at Mike O'Connor, Sergeant Mike O'Connor. And again, we had Mike on the show not too long ago. And sadly, Sergeant O'Connor is retired, or has retired. We had him on the show a couple of weeks ago to talk about retirement. But this is one of the events that he helped put together. Again, Boston Police Explorer Program. It's a program designed for high school kids who are looking to learn about law enforcement. And this was the culmination of the program, graduation time at Boston Police Headquarters. And we caught up to Sergeant O'Connor afterwards. And again, kids learned a lot, and he said he had a lot of fun putting the whole thing together.
It's really nice when they come up afterwards and they say, thank you, this really meant a lot. Not only is it nice when the kids do it, but when their parents do it as well. I guess that's what it's all about when it's said and done. As a parent, I can appreciate that, having 3 children, when people give their time, but when people like Officer Keneally gets involved, the kids just really appreciate that, and it's really nice. As one girl said to me, you know, this was organized, it came in, we could tell from the way things were set up and the way it was organized that you guys cared. Everything was on schedule, there wasn't any cancellations or anything like that, and we had to go all the way home. Every week we got something out of it. And that, you know, it was a minor point, but it was a point well made.
O'Connor, by the way, the new athletic director at Ursuline Academy. So if you're looking for Sergeant O'Connor, Mike O'Connor, that's where you can find him. All right, this is a picture of Horatio Homer. And we talked about Horatio Homer not too long ago, the first African-American officer in the Boston Police Department. This past Saturday, they had a phenomenal event in his honor. We'll have video of that, and probably Bobby Anthony and maybe Willie Gross or maybe Margaret Sullivan to come in and talk about it. But the event couldn't have gone any better. It was over at the Evergreen Cemetery, and it was just a really nice day as they honored Horatio Homer. All right, I got to send out a shout to Sergeant Lisa Holmes and City of Boston street worker Kendall Bruce. You're looking at pictures of the prom dress drive, or the result of the prom dress drive, which Lisa and Kendall put together. And again, we told you about it before. They put the prom dress drive together with the idea or the hope of making what has become, you know, as you all know, a wicked expensive night, maybe a little bit less expensive. And they asked for donations, dress donations. Let me tell you, they got close to 300 dresses, which is huge. And Lisa and Kendall wanted me to say thank you to all those people who donated. All right, this is the RAD class, the RAD program. And if you're interested in signing up for the RAD class, RAD, by the way, stands for Rape, Aggression, Defense, Training, or System. Again, we had Officer Mike Charbonnier in studio along with Sergeant Eric Krause. And this is a program, free of charge, folks, designed specifically for women. And it's a program that helps you think, or helps you, gives you some tools to protect yourself and to hopefully get away in the event you're attacked. And as you can see, it's no joke, all right? You're kicking, punching, doing whatever you can. And again, it's a great program, free of charge, all about empowerment. So if you're interested in that program, get a hold of Mike Charbonnier. All right, Boston Police, Gaelic column, the pipes and the drums. Love the pipes and drums. And again, we had Joe Cheevers, Eric Krause in studio not too long ago. These guys are just great. Plain and simple, do a great job. And here's something to tell you about. If you didn't know, they're available for weddings and birthdays and bar mitzvahs. I'm not sure about that part. But the pipes and drums, we had Joe and Eric in studio last month, and these guys do great work. I wanted to thank them again and just let you know, if you're looking for a piper for a wedding, I'm telling you, they're available. All right. The person you're seeing right now on your screen, center screen, is a really nice woman by the name of Sally O'Malley. And there's another nice girl there by the name of Caroline Fitzgerald. But we're showing you video footage of the wiffle ball tournament, Field of Dreams wiffle ball tournament. All the proceeds that were raised at this tournament went to benefited juvenile diabetes. Let me tell you again, this tournament was great. Got a chance to go by, shoot some video, hang out with the tournament director, Superintendent Paul Fitzgerald, and a cast of others. But without any further ado, let's introduce tonight's guest.